Good morning. This is Monty Westfall with EDL 955, assignment number 1, which I am affectionately calling A Tale of Two Libraries or Media Centers. My goal today is to take you through two facilities that were originally designed for the same purpose, yet you will see that they function very drastically differently now. I will do that by giving you a brief overview of each facility and then taking you into some pictures highlighting some of the key elements of those facilities. So the first facility that we're going to take a look at is Wakarusa Valley Elementary, which no longer functions as an elementary school but actually houses the Lawrence Virtual School. The library, which is not used as a traditional library anymore, was built in 1994. You will see that there is some older technology in this. No pockets or nooks for breakout sessions or kind of differentiating with kids. More of a rigid environment furniture that was not necessarily made to be moved around. There is a respectable use of natural light. I will point out a safety concern. And then with regard to the professional standards, I can say that Standard 10 is being addressed inadvertently here because we are seeking to move out of Wakarusa Valley Elementary into a new facility for the virtual school. So the environment you're going to see in the pictures that represent this library are not necessarily what you might think of when you think of a state-of-the-art virtual school, because it is not functioning as that space right now. However, in the district's long-range plan in the next year or two, there are plans to move us to a much more upgraded facility. So I'm not trying to paint USD 497 in any sort of negative light because it is being addressed. We just got finished with a major bond issue, so those buildings, 21 buildings were involved in that. Those kind of took priority over the virtual school, who does the majority of our work either at home or online. So with that, we'll take a look at some pictures of Wakarusa Valley and begin there. As you can see from these first couple of pictures, this is more of a traditional library setup. Against the brick wall you see there used to be library shelves lining either side of the room. Since we were not a traditional school, we removed those and added the booths that you see just to try to make it somewhat inviting for families who might be waiting on special education testing, or when we have gatherings for staff as a convenient place to eat lunch, etc. You will see that it's generally free of obstacles from a safety standpoint just in moving about the room. And then to the right, you'll kind of see the windows that go out into the parking lot and kind of front lawn area, providing some natural light. And I've got another slide for that here in just a moment. But definitely was built as a traditional library. We do have what we call our production room. Basically, it's a copy room, but it does provide some functionality for teachers who are needing to work with materials and get things out to students. A safety concern that I would like to point out, we've got the situation right here, which is in the ceiling of the atrium of the library. There's quite a lot of rust and actually mold that has been torn out from some of the sheetrock. This, again, I believe from a maintenance standpoint, they're thinking is a low priority item just because students are not frequently in the building, but the adults that are would appreciate it being addressed at some point. But yes, that is definitely a safety concern that, that should be addressed. Now, taking a brief look at lighting in this library, because as we've read about in our book, students do better with the use of natural lighting. There's quite a bit of natural lighting in this atrium area here, which there is normally a conference table there that was moved for this event that happened to be going on the day I was taking pictures. But there's ceiling lighting all throughout here, which you can't exactly see, and then floor to ceiling lighting here. We also have a wall of windows along the other side of the library that allows for some natural lighting for students. So from a lighting standpoint, really pretty much okay. You can see the furniture is much older. We've got the old circulation desk here and another part of where the book return used to be over here. Again, this is no disrespect to USD 497, but just the situation that we're in as we transition and get ready to be in a new space. As I said, we were having a little fall learning festival the day that these pictures were taken. So you can see that there is some flexibility with moving some furniture around, but not necessarily furniture that was designed to be moved around. Wall space is also a challenge due to the brick wall, again, where bookshelves used to be, and then this cinder block wall where bookshelves also used to be. So we pretty much have these strips of corkboard here that we can hang things from. Other than that, there weren't really any dedicated bulletin boards or display space for staff to use with students or even with each other. That being a quick overview of Wakarusa Elementary Library, or actually the Lawrence Virtual School library. The final thing I will say on that is the primary function for that library now is for state assessments, for professional development for teachers, and for some special education testing. Also, there are places for prospective families to take a look at our curriculum and get some ideas of that. The second elementary library, or actually media center, that we're going to take a look at is Hillcrest Elementary. And I actually did some research and found an article on kind of the thoughts behind what was going on with the plan and the layout of space. It was actually in the Education Facility Planner, Volume 49, Issue 2 and 3, pages 46 through 50. That went specifically into USD 497 and kind of the big tenets or the big ideas behind why you're going to see what you're going to see. This is just an overview of the space. You can already see very dramatically how much different it is than the space at Wakarusa Valley. The space was designed to go along with the district initiative of personalized learning. A lot of people call it blended learning. We've gone to more of a personalized learning as a label. You'll see a collection of both digital and print media. The district's research has shown that kids at a younger age do best with a mix of both the traditional print media as well as the newer digital media. That was also referenced in the article that I mentioned just a moment ago. Kind of some important tenets of this space to take into consideration as I'm going through the pictures here. You're going to see maker spaces, encouraging students to be active learners, really taking charge of their own learning. Very student-centered, student-directed, much more of that forward-thinking, future-ready career and college center, or career and college skills, etc. There'll be a variety of digital resources that are provided for students to kind of give them a toolkit, so to speak, of different things. You'll see Apple TVs, we've got laptops, iPads are coming. Middle schools all have them now, elementaries will be getting them. The library is now not a place to check out a book, it's actually a learning space. You'll see a lot of flexibility, a lot of little nooks, a lot of little places where students can read, or teachers can have their classes break off into groups for different activities. Also going along with that idea of personalized learning. You'll also see that this is a very flexible space that can be used by the community for meetings, for a variety of resources. Our Boys and Girls Clubs use our libraries all the time. And then you'll also see a wide variety of furniture as we go through. Non-traditional furniture that's more comfortable, that will make students more comfortable as they're reading or as they're engaging in various activities within the media center. Also gone is the notion of a circulation desk or a checkout desk. This is what has been called a Genius Bar. It's where library personnel are available with different resources for students to help answer their needs or their questions or guide them to and through different resources as they are working. Small little production area here. Just a quick picture there. I apologize for these lights not being on. This is not my home school, and I was kind of left in the library alone. But you can see there's a lot of natural lighting in here, which is going to be shed into a lot of these reading spaces. So from a lighting standpoint, I think they did a very good job of making that happen. You'll also see, like I said, lots of flexible furniture. These stackable pads that kids can take, spread out. They want to go into a rocking chair or a more comfortable padded chair. They've got love seats here. So lots of flexible options for kids as they direct their own learning and as they really make the space their own. Finally, here are some flexible learning and breakout spaces. Definitely looking at Professional Standard 1, because they are enacting a shared vision for each student, that personalized learning. In designing this, they definitely had that in mind. Very safe environment, very open spaces, not a lot for anyone to trip on. Also, lots of student space. Very little space reserved for the adults in this setting. So lots of places where kiddos can work. Overall, all of these spaces, this entire media center really relates to Standard 7 professional community for teachers and staff, particularly letter A under that, developing workplace conditions for teachers and other professional staff that promote effective professional development practice and student learning. Lots of opportunities here for this to be the most optimum environment for teaching and learning for both faculty and for students. Finally, you'll notice in this last picture here the vast amount of wall space as compared to Wakarusa Valley. Lots more whiteboard space, lots more places to display things on the walls. So really a very open, modern facility that really takes the needs of students to heart. I hope that this brief presentation has given you a glimpse at two very different learning spaces that were at one time very similar in their use. Thank you very much, and I look forward to any comments.